Hey guys, and welcome to the Week in Review. I'm Lighthouse, and this is what's happened in the last week in Black Desert. So to start off with, there's a pretty serious accusation on the subreddit, and that is duping. People are claiming that there is an unusual number of brand new accessories entering the economy in unusual quantities and in sort of suspicious batches, and thus there's a possibility that either there is a duper or the Cacao or Pearl Abyss themselves are injecting items into the economy as they realize that we don't have enough in the economy as is. Now, duping is a huge accusation in any MMO or any online game economy, as duping absolutely ruins the economy. Inflation messes with the economy. Duping can destroy an economy. So if these allegations are true, there is going to be huge problems going forward. Next up, the chest event. People are claiming that they have made billions of silver off the chest event. I'm not surprised. The chest event is insane for making good silver. And as a result, screenshots like this have been floating around the forums and the subreddit. It's pretty nice to see, especially for people that were active during the event. Of course, there were a lot of complaints as well, but so far it seems to have been a well-received event. Next up, some of the biggest news for this week in review. Drieghan has been kind of announced, coming November 14th. That is when Drieghan is set to release. Now, unfortunately, November 14th is still almost 2 months away, and players are not exactly happy about that, but at least we have a date to look forward to. So people can stop asking when Drieghan should drop. It should drop November 14th, if everything goes according to plan. Following up, the final piece of news. There was a PvP tournament at TwitchCon over the weekend, and at the tournament, the rules were changed to, instead of bringing your own gear and having that gear provided for you on the accounts provided for you, players were provided with equal gear. Now, this has received backlash in the community for multiple reasons. The first reason being that to qualify for the tournament, players had to use their own gear or had to register under the assumption that they would need their own gear, and thus lots of good PvPers who did not want to have to deal with 270 AP monkeys running around and one-shotting people did not sign up or qualify for the tournament. The other is that equal gear kind of just displays the class imbalance in Black Desert ever since their 30 days of balancing way back in the spring when they nerfed and changed a whole bunch of classes after implementing Renown, and then never really touched them again. So this has not exactly been a well-received little bit by the community. The tournament was not really well-received, and the rule change was especially criticized for just being a bad change overall. Here's another quick look at that. Here's another bit of, well, a comic that a user made on the subreddit to kind of show how the community feels about this. And then finally, as always, we will look at the community and the numbers on Steam at the end of the last week. So, in the last month, you can see that Black Desert, it was recovering. Black Desert Remastered released, and it's been slowly dipping again. Last week, the peaks were mostly around 14,000s, with multiple days being above 14,000. This week, only a single day even managed to reach 14,000, barely, hitting 14,021 at its peak, and then dipping down. So once again, for the second consecutive week, players have been lost. Now, people like to point out that average players went up in August, and that is true. But that was at the end of August that they went up. That was a more recent thing, when really it was a fall from the big numbers of the months before. And not even big numbers, but we kind of held consistent around 14,000 for several months, between March all the way up to July. And then August lost about 3,000 players all at once with the pay-to-win changes. So last 30 days have been a recovery from the god-awful month that was August, but it's not looking good right now, and the average players is sort of between the average that it was before the pay-to-win changes and the low that August represents. Anyways guys, that is the week in review for Black Desert. As always, comment below what you think. What do you think about the equal gear in PvP? Do you think that this is the right move going forward and that they should implement arenas and actual tournaments with equalized gear? Or do you think the Black Desert is too gear dependent as is and should just stick with having players grind their own gear and use that in all forms of PvP? Is duping actually happening or not? Do you think that duping is going to absolutely destroy the economy? And if so, do you think it's a good thing? Because Black Desert could certainly use more items in the economy. So far, if duping is happening, the dupers are being cautious and injecting the new items into the market in batches of about 15 to 20 items at once. If they really wanted to mess with the economy, they could do it in batches of hundreds at once and absolutely destroy any way the economy has to function, but also give players the ability to actually get high-level accessories, depending on RNG. And finally, what do you think about the state of Black Desert in general? Do you think it's doing well, or do you think that there are problems at the moment? Comment below. As always, subscribe if you like it, and have a good one.